Hi, I'm Nicole Kelly. I'm here at South by Southwest 2010 and I'm walking around doing interviews. I have 7 questions to take the mystery out of social media measurement. Okay, so we're here with Dharmesh from HubSpot and we're going to do the next interview. So first, why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do and what HubSpot is all about?
Sure. So I'm Dharmesh Shah. I'm the founder and CTO of HubSpot. We're a software company focusing on building a marketing platform for small businesses to help them essentially get more customers online.
Okay. And so who is your primary market? Is it B2B, business to consumer, you know, who are you going after?
Yeah, so it's primarily B2B, and the way we think about our market is there's 2 personas that we sell to. One is a persona we call Owner Ollie. And Owner Ollie is essentially like a partner in a firm, and the criteria for an Owner Ollie is there's no one in the company that has the word marketing in their title. So it's like could be a partner in a 7-person law firm, it could be like a 10-person retail company, doesn't really matter. So that's Owner Ollie, and the other one we sell to is a persona we call Marketing Mary. And Marketing Mary is the director or VP of marketing at a slightly larger company, usually between 10 and 200 employees. But most of our customers end up being B2B because the kind of driver of the value proposition is that we're helping these companies get leads, and business to business lead generation tends to be more important. There's more value per lead, so the software is easier to rationalize and get a return on. Versus if you're like a retail shop or you're selling an ebook online or something, it's harder. And there's already most of those companies that are B2C already have sophisticated web marketing people in-house. Lots of small businesses that are B2B don't. If you're a law firm, you're a management consulting firm or whatever, you usually don't have that kind of capacity.
Perfect. So to market HubSpot, which social media channels are you using?
So we try all of them, right? So we're big believers in experiment and then measure to figure out what works and what doesn't work. The ones that have been successful for us right now, Twitter, in terms of the social media sites, is probably the most successful in terms of driving both traffic and then lead gen. It's on our top 5 list of channels across the board, right? From all the things that we do. And then LinkedIn's number 2 in terms of social networks. Not Facebook. We haven't seen a lot of traction on Facebook yet.
Right. Well, that seems natural because LinkedIn is really kind of that business networking.
Although the Twitter one doesn't make as much sense. It's like we're getting so much success out of Twitter, and I think it's it's like a lightweight way to for people to share, and or maybe just is our audience.
Right. Absolutely.
Just getting on Twitter or something.
Interesting. So what would you say the primary focus is? Is it, customer acquisition? Is it retention? Or is it brand awareness?
Mostly, I would say 80+% it's customer acquisition. Can we get more people into our funnel? Can we get essentially more prospects and qualified leads? We'll respond to support requests, and yes, we care about brand and to what degree people are recognizing HubSpot, but it's mostly about customer acquisition. It's very simple for us,
Very good. And you guys are kind of the leader in that space. So, with the inbound marketing book and talking about bringing people to you versus them coming.
It's one of the reasons we're so passionate about inbound marketing is we've seen it work for ourselves. And all this is for. There's lots of businesses that can benefit. I think people sometimes too quickly, and we're as skeptical as anyone in terms of getting into stuff or whatever, but it works. It's in the right context for the right kinds of companies, it seems to work.
Fantastic. So how are you really measuring whether or not social media is actually contributing to customer acquisition?
The best way to measure it is to actually measure it, which is, are you getting leads, are you getting customers? So we actually have an end-to-end measurement system as part of the HubSpot platform, and so we know essentially how many leads were generated through Twitter, through LinkedIn, through Facebook. How much traffic did we get? What was the conversion rate on that traffic? How many people expressed interest, raised their hand, and filled out a landing page form or something? And then ultimately, how many people bought? So we have the data all the way through the funnel. So we know how many customers Twitter generated for us, let's say last quarter, which is immensely valuable. So we measured all the way through, and we're looking at lead and customer acquisition.
So what metrics do you look at every day? When you come in and you turn on your computer, what are you looking at to see if the company's doing what you want it to?
Yes, we have a marketing team now. So they what they look at every day is we have essentially goals for lead generation. There's lots of B2B companies in order to keep our salespeople fed, right? We have 42 people on the inside sales team at HubSpot. How many leads do we generate? So we actually have, you may have seen one of these, it's a waterfall diagram. Have you seen those?
Yes.
So we have our goal, it's we've got 23 selling days left. Here's, we draw the lines, here's how many leads we should have generated by this point and where we are on the curve. So that's the number, and every day an email goes out, the entire executive team, the entire marketing and sales team, that says here's where we are in terms of our lead generation goals. So that's the metric that the entire company lives by, essentially.
Right. So you're really measuring ROI. That's the big thing for you guys.
Yeah, it's huge,
Yeah. Now, are you measuring how much profit is generated per customer, and then tying that back to the investment of time?
Yeah. So what we do is we measure customer acquisition cost overall. So we look at marketing program spend, we look at marketing personnel, and just roll it all in to say, okay, well, here's our total cost, here's how many leads and customers we generate, to figure out what's the cost per lead, what's the cost per qualified lead, what's the cost per demo that we did. So we have a relatively kind of multi-level funnel, and we measure the conversion rate across all those layers in the funnel, and then how many people became customers. And then one level deeper, which is, okay, so we sold customers. Were they happy customers? Happy in terms of how long did they stay?
Okay.
So we measure the actual retention. So, okay, yeah, we might be signing up a bunch of customers through this particular channel, and yeah, the lead acquisition, the cost per lead was relatively low, but those customers end up not being a good fit. They canceled, 3 months in or 4 months in.
Right.
So we're very sensitive to, are we attracting the right customers,
right,
not just the right leads.
Now, do you guys do other types of marketing beyond social media?
Yeah, we do just about everything, right? So we like to, obviously, since we're banging on tables about inbound marketing, we like to make that our focus, obviously, because we're out there saying, yes, this can work, everybody should do this, which we do. But I'll tell you things we don't do. We don't do direct mail. We don't do we don't do any trade shows, sponsoring, or exhibits. That's another decision we made earlier this year. But we do a bunch of other stuff. So we do lots of webinars. Webinars are very successful, very popular for us. The blog is on the top 5 list of lead gen sources for us. So it's just kind of loosely social media. But yeah, so we're a kind of classic marketing shop, except without all the not all, but most of the outbound marketing messiness. I guess would be the way to put it.
So do you find that with the customer acquisition, when you get a customer through a social media channel, and then you're measuring all the way through retention, where is kind of the, obviously it's working for customer acquisition, but are you seeing a difference in retention from leads that have come through social media versus other channels?
We haven't seen any kind of statistically relevant pattern yet. So we can't say, it's like, oh, well, these customers came through, through Twitter versus these other ones that came through the webinar. They're about the same in terms of quality. Now, that might have less to do with the actual quality of the people coming in. It might have to do with the fact that our funnel is relatively consistent. So once you become a lead for HubSpot, you're going through the same qualification process. The salespeople are going to go put you through the same kind of demo, and then so whatever differences there were probably got washed out higher in the funnel, I guess. Right. My argument. So.
And is there a kind of a pattern that people attend? They follow you on Twitter, or they see you on Twitter, they go to a webinar, they download an ebook, and then ask for a demo?
Definitely. That's one of the things we struggle with, and so we're looking at how do we build this out in our own platform so our customers can benefit as well, but around attribution, right? This is, okay, well, they first found us through Twitter, but then they did this, and this, and then they did this, and then they finally bought, right?
Okay.
It's like, well, right now, most companies will either attribute the last event, whatever it was, like, oh yeah, we got this customer through a webinar. It's like, okay, well, yeah, but how did they hear about our webinar? Oh yeah, well, we pinged them through email. Or, well, how did we get their email? Well, they signed up through this Twitter landing page. So it'd be nice to somehow mathematically allocate value across the various things that we do.
So you can't track the entire campaign history yet?
We track it. We don't attribute value to it yet. So we know everything that they've done, to the degree that's possible to track it. We've got cookies on us. We've got the entire history. We track what the salespeople see as the first event. It's like what brought them into HubSpot was our first point of contact, and then the last event prior to them becoming an actual lead.
Okay.
So it's like, oh yeah, well, they read our blog article, they've left a comment, they've done this, and this. Oh, and then they converted, but the last event was this, whatever it happened to be.
Okay, very interesting.